I'd like to welcome back Professor Judy Franks. Professor Franks has visited this MOOC to discuss how the media landscape is shaping marketing today. Her book, Media: From Chaos to Clarity, presents 5 global truths that we have been using as a helpful compass for navigating a messy media world during this course. Professor Franks is here today to talk about the 2nd edition of her book that she released at the end of 2018. Professor Franks, welcome back to the MOOC. Judy, what makes the 2nd edition of Media: From Chaos to Clarity different from a typical 2nd edition that updates a few facts and figures from the 1st edition?
Randy, the media world had radically changed since I published the 1st edition back in 2011. Consequently, it was important that I take a step back and challenge everything that I thought was true. We needed more time and, frankly, more chaos to unfold to figure out if the 5 global truths that I presented in the 1st edition were true, or if they would succumb to chaos themselves. If I went into this with any form of bias, it was possible that I would miss what was truly going on in the marketplace. Further, with the rise of marketing automation and big data that really took off since I published the 1st edition, I had to consider what we were seeing from the perspective of machine learning. It's critical that we train the machines with the right ideas, because machines are only as smart as we are. So it became critical to rethink just about everything.
Judy, before we get into the details of the 2nd edition, can you offer a quick summary of the 1st edition of Media: From Chaos to Clarity for those who may not have read the book?
Sure, Randy. If I were to summarize the key findings from the 1st edition of the book, I'd focus on 4 key insights. First, the media world of the 20th century used to function like this giant Newtonian machine. Media channels were truly distinct from each other. They all functioned a certain way. And once you figured out the laws of media effects, you could develop media message delivery strategies with high levels of certainty. Enter digital media and all that changed. All of a sudden, the media world became much more relative. It's as if the media had transitioned from Newton's order to Einstein's chaos. Chaos is a tricky thing. On one hand, chaos is completely necessary for organisms to thrive. But on the other hand, human beings really dislike chaos. We prefer predictability and order, especially when money is involved. So in order to navigate chaos, we were going to need a new compass, and that's where the 5 global truths come into play. Each truth serves as a vector on the compass to help us travel through chaos and to better understand the profound changes that we were seeing in the landscape. Finally, the book presented a new energy formula that I call C3 for harnessing the potential of this messy media world. In this new world order, content is the most important C in the mix. If you have great content worth sharing, consumers, which happen to be the 2nd C, will accelerate that content far and wide. The 3rd C, being channels, the media themselves, actually have lost importance in this whole process. We give media channels way too much credit in the story.
So, how are the 5 global truths holding up? What new insights about the 5 global truths can you share with us?
Actually, all 5 global truths are relevant today. In fact, they're even more pronounced today than they were when I first conceived of them. So let's go through what I've seen for each of those 5. Convergence. When I first thought of convergence, I envisioned a screen democracy that would lead to what I'll call video everywhere. That is certainly true. However, convergence has gone much further than I had ever imagined. Now, literally every communications form, whether it be video, audio, text, or pictures, has merged onto every digital screen. When we look at symbiosis, as we expected, new is creating a renaissance for old. In both editions of the book, I spend a fair amount of time talking about television. Television is alive and well and thriving over the internet. In fact, many call this the 2nd golden age of television. When we look at circuits, actually, this global truth has proven to be the most interesting. In the second edition, I talk about marketers' attempt to gain the system with strategies such as paid influencer marketing, which frankly is an oxymoron. But despite marketers' attempt to take control, circuits remain open and in the hands of consumers. The fourth global truth being brands. This is interesting in that transmedia branding has been the slowest to emerge of all the truths. Yet the most powerful media brands out there, such as Disney, are building businesses onto new channels successfully. Finally, when we look at the fifth global truth, economics, we have more proof every day that high quality content drives all the economic value of the media ecosystem. Distribution costs remain under pressure, while premium content can command just about any price.
The media landscape continues to progress in line with the 5 global truths. What about the media and marketing industry? How well are we navigating chaos?
Randy, we are seeing progress in some areas and we're falling behind in others. So I'd like to share 5 lessons with you today. Lesson 1, I've learned since the first edition of the book that there's a big difference between media and the media business. There's something called the law of suppression of radical potential. And in essence, what that means is that media companies need to slow down technological progress until they can figure out a way to make a profitable business model around these advancements. So frankly, consumers are traveling through chaos faster than media companies can. The second lesson that I've learned is that clickbait is undermining the potential of content economics. Hopefully, by the time I publish the third edition of Media from Chaos to Clarity, the regulators will step in and we won't be dealing with clickbait in the future. Lesson 3, the marketing and advertising industry needs to rebundle. The specialty agencies were created for silos that no longer exist because we are now experiencing convergence. We are seeing some pockets of marketing and media services coming back together, but not fast enough. Lesson 4, media audience measurement, frankly, is heading in the wrong direction. As more marketers walk away from common currency and decide to use their own first-party data, we are losing a common view of where audiences are traveling in this new media landscape. And finally, lesson 5, marketing automation relies on who is training the machine. If people feed machines with old thinking that is left over from the Newtonian media era, we're going to wind up stalking consumers as opposed to embracing the 5 global truths.
What does the future hold?
Randy, I'll be happy to report back on the future with the third edition of Media from Chaos to Clarity in about 5 years. 5 years is a good amount of time to ensure that we don't react to small occurrences or blips in the media landscape and that we remain focused on the big picture. But meanwhile, with the 5 global truths as your guide, you can go forth and harness the potential of this messy media world.